High above a wolf pack moving through freezing wilderness, a black shape circles patiently. It isn't scared of them. It isn't running from them. It's following them, on purpose, deeper into danger than almost any other bird would dare. In the next few minutes, you'll find out exactly why. This is a raven, and across the frozen forests of the north, it spends a staggering amount of its life doing one thing: staying close to wolves. Not occasionally, not by accident, deliberately and constantly, in a relationship so tight that scientists gave this bird a second name. Biologists call the common raven the wolf bird. During winter, some ravens spend up to 80% of their waking hours near active wolf packs. That's not a coincidence. That's not a loose association. That's a bird organizing its entire life around the presence of a dangerous predator. Wolves are apex predators. Powerful jaws, coordinated hunting, the ability to kill something many times a raven's size in minutes. Getting close to that kind of power should be a losing strategy for any bird smart enough to know better. And ravens are exactly that smart. So what's the payoff? Here's what most people never learn about this relationship. It's not just proximity. It's not just scavenging leftovers from a distance. This bird is doing something far more calculated. Something that involves actively shaping how, when, and where an apex predator hunts. And it starts with a problem. Despite having one of the most powerful beaks in the bird world, a raven cannot open a moose. It cannot open an elk. Thick hide, tough muscle, dense connective tissue, all of it defeats even a raven's sharp beak. There's meat everywhere on the tundra. The raven simply can't reach it. Scientists call this the can opener dilemma. The raven needs something with the raw force to break through skin that its own body was never built to penetrate. Out here, in this landscape, there's only one reliable tool capable of doing that consistently. And it comes with teeth, claws, and its own hunger. Wolves solve the raven's fundamental problem in seconds. A wolf pack can bring down and tear open an elk that would otherwise sit sealed and untouched for the raven forever. Where the raven sees an impossible vault of meat, the wolf sees a straightforward meal. Together, they solve each other's problems. If this were just about scavenging leftovers, the story would end here. Bird waits, wolf eats. Bird cleans up the scraps. Simple. Except researchers watching these packs for years noticed something the leftover theory couldn't explain. The ravens weren't just waiting around for food to appear. If uncovering the strange, hidden partnerships hiding across the natural world is the kind of thing that pulls you in, subscribe now, because what you're about to learn next completely changes how you'll see every raven you ever spot circling above a predator again. Field researchers have documented something remarkable. Ravens calling loudly above live prey, diving toward it, landing near it, repeating this behavior until a nearby wolf pack notices and follows. This isn't a bird waiting for scraps. This is a bird actively steering a predator toward a kill it hasn't made yet. Think about what that means. The raven identifies a target the wolves haven't found yet. It draws attention to it, again and again, until the pack takes notice and commits to the hunt. The bird isn't just present for the kill. In some cases, it's the reason the kill happens at all. This raises an unsettling question. Why would a raven expend energy locating prey for another species? Prey it can't eat until the wolves open it up anyway. The answer circles back to that same problem. Without the wolf's jaws, the raven's discovery means nothing, so it recruits the jaws itself. This isn't a risk-free strategy. Wolves are fast, and their reflexes are built for violence. A raven positioned too close to a hunting pack at the wrong moment could easily become a casualty rather than a partner. And yet, generation after generation, ravens keep choosing to stay close anyway. Researchers studying the fossil record and modern ecosystems suspect this relationship isn't new. It may stretch back thousands of years, possibly tied to an even older partnership between ravens and now extinct megafauna predators. If true, This bird has been running the same strategy since long before recorded history. The instant a wolf pack brings down prey, the dynamic shifts immediately. What was cooperation becomes competition. Because now, the ravens aren't just guiding the hunt anymore. They're circling something they desperately want, something the wolves have earned through exhausting, dangerous effort, and are not eager to share. Ravens don't wait patiently at a respectful distance for wolves to finish eating. They dive in almost immediately, snatching pieces of meat from around the edges, sometimes within feet of a wolf's jaws. This isn't timid scavenging. This is bold, calculated theft, carried out in plain sight of the predator. Here's a number that might surprise you. Studies show a flock of ravens working a single elk carcass can consume and cache up to a third of the entire animal. That's not scraps. That's a serious percentage of the wolves' hard-earned kill, disappearing into raven stomachs and hidden caches nearby. Think about the consequence of that number. If ravens are taking roughly a third of every kill, that means wolves aren't getting the full nutritional value they should from each hunt. To compensate, packs are forced to hunt more frequently, burning more energy, taking on more risk, all because of these birds. This flips the entire relationship on its head. The wolves may be the ones with teeth and claws, the obvious apex predator in this story. But in terms of pure economics, the raven is quietly extracting a toll on every single hunt, forcing the wolf pack to work harder just to survive. You'd expect wolves to eventually turn on birds, stealing a third of their food supply, chase them off, attack them on sight, treat them as pests robbing every meal. But that's not what happens. Instead, observers have documented something almost impossible to believe, given how much these birds are stealing. In legendary field observations from Yellowstone, biologist Bernd Heinrich filmed ravens engaging in playful tug-of-war with wolf pups, tugging on sticks or scraps while young wolves pulled back, almost like two species testing their strength against each other in a game neither seemed to take seriously. It gets stranger still. Ravens have been observed deliberately pulling the tails of adult wolves, seemingly just to provoke a reaction, triggering short chases across open ground. An animal capable of killing the bird in an instant gets teased again and again, and simply doesn't retaliate the way you'd expect. Perhaps strangest of all, ravens have been filmed resting calmly, just feet away from sleeping wolves. No visible fear, no tension. A predator capable of crushing this bird in one bite, completely at ease with its presence, as if the two species have reached some kind of unspoken understanding. So why would a fierce predator tolerate a bird that provokes it, steals from it, and forces it to hunt more often? Scientists have proposed two very different explanations. One suggests raw evolutionary instinct. The other suggests something closer to intentional, ongoing social manipulation. Neither has been fully proven. The first theory argues this bond is simply built in, a co-evolved relationship stretching back so far that neither species questions it anymore. Under this view, wolves tolerate ravens the same way they tolerate wind or cold. It's just part of the environment they evolved to survive inside. The second theory is far more unsettling. Some scientists speculate ravens may be actively training young wolves through repeated play, conditioning them from puphood to associate ravens with harmless interaction rather than threat or prey. If true, this bird isn't just tolerated, it's shaping the predator's behavior deliberately. Here's what's confirmed, without speculation. Ravens are exceptionally intelligent. They can recognize individual wolves by sight, tracking specific animals across a landscape over time. That capability alone sets this relationship apart from simple, opportunistic scavenging seen in other bird species around other predators. Picture what that actually requires. Distinguishing one wolf from another, remembering which individuals tolerate closer contact, which ones are more aggressive, which packs hunt more successfully. This isn't blind instinct responding to any wolf shape. This is a bird building a mental map of specific, individual predators. If ravens can recognize specific wolves, that opens the door to something deeper than pure biological hardwiring. It suggests memory, pattern recognition, maybe even a form of ongoing relationship building between individual birds and individual wolves, tracked and adjusted over repeated encounters across an entire winter. If ravens are tracking individual wolves, testing boundaries through play, and provoking reactions deliberately, are we looking at pure instinct dressed up to look intentional? Or are we looking at something closer to genuine social strategy, playing out between two completely different species, in real time, in the wild? This isn't just a curiosity about ravens and wolves. It's a crack in the assumption that only humans build complex, strategic relationships with other species. Out here, in the wilderness, an entirely different kind of intelligence may be running its own version of diplomacy, with real stakes attached. Remember, this partnership only works because both sides keep their behavior within certain limits. If ravens stole too much, wolves might eventually retaliate. If wolves became too aggressive, ravens would stop guiding them to prey. Somewhere in this dynamic, an unspoken balance keeps holding, winter after winter. Neither the wolf nor the raven consciously negotiated these terms in any formal sense. And yet, the relationship persists, precise enough to survive generations, flexible enough to include theft, provocation, and cooperation, all within the same, ongoing partnership. That balance itself might be the most remarkable part of this story. We opened by asking why a brilliant bird would risk its life following a deadly predator, guiding it toward prey it could never open on its own. Now you understand the mechanics. But whether this is ancient instinct, deliberate strategy, or some blend of both, remains genuinely unresolved. Even Bernd Heinrich, one of the researchers who documented this relationship most closely, has acknowledged how much remains uncertain. Is the raven capable of anything resembling intention? Or is every behavior we've described simply the output of instinct so refined it mimics strategy, without any awareness behind it? This is where the story gets genuinely uncomfortable, in a good way, because the line between blind instinct and conscious strategy isn't nearly as clear as we like to believe, not in ravens, and arguably, not always in ourselves. Behavior can look calculated without necessarily requiring conscious calculation behind it. There's no agreement signed between these species, no enforcement mechanism keeping either side honest, and yet this arrangement has apparently persisted long enough to earn its own name in scientific literature, stable enough that researchers can predict raven behavior around wolf packs with real confidence. Consider what happens in regions where wolf populations have been wiped out. Research following wolf reintroduction efforts, most famously in Yellowstone, has shown ravens responding almost immediately to the wolves' return, converging on new packs as though picking up a relationship that had simply been paused. That detail alone tells you something important. This isn't a random accident of proximity, one that could just as easily attach to any predator wandering through. Ravens specifically seek out wolves, track their movements, and resume this partnership the moment wolves become available again, as if wired to look for them. So here's where the story leaves us. A bird smart enough to recognize individuals, bold enough to steal from an apex predator, and strategic enough to guide hunts toward prey it can't reach alone. Whether instinct or intention drives it, the result looks remarkably like a functioning alliance. This story is a reminder that intelligence and cooperation in the wild rarely look like what we expect. Sometimes the smartest move isn't overpowering a threat. It's learning to work alongside it, calculating exactly how much you can take and exactly how close you can get without ever paying the price. So here's what's worth carrying with you after this video ends. If a bird can build something resembling a working relationship with an apex predator, tracking individuals, testing limits, and shaping outcomes across years, what other partnerships might be hiding in plain sight, unnoticed by everyone except the animals living them? We started by asking why a raven would risk everything following a wolf pack across the wilderness. Now you know. Not blind luck, not simple scavenging. A calculated exchange between two very different kinds of intelligence, each one exploiting, tolerating, and depending on the other in equal measure. Whether this bond began as pure evolutionary accident, or has since evolved into something closer to genuine cross-species relationship, remains one of the open questions in animal behavior research today. What's certain is that this pairing has survived long enough to earn its own name in scientific literature. If this pulled you into a hidden alliance you never knew existed, subscribe, because stranger, darker partnerships are hiding across the wild, waiting to be uncovered. The wolves keep hunting, the ravens keep watching, and now you understand exactly why they never leave each other's side.